Hello, hello. This is the Infernal Blow character I was playing in that last video. Infernal Blow, pretty easy. You do not need the anomalous version. It's pretty expensive, but I have it because it's nice to have for clearing. I have anomalous Trinity support. Again, don't need it. It just gives me that extra attack speed we're looking for. The concept of the build is to stack as much Dex as possible and to do as much clear as possible. Bossing is a little bit lack of desire, but it's whatever. It's about 25C, 30C. Pretty cheap to get. Try to get it as high as the stats you can. Mine's not perfect, but it's nearly perfect. That's all I really care about. It's a Dex ring. Harder to use the Dex ring when you're using Briskwrap, which is the cheaper version of what I have because of resistances. Like, resistances in this build are really tight. We have my Explodey chest. Gives me Dex and Explodey. Don't need it. It's just like a luxury item to have. I had a lot of currency, and I really wanted an Explodey chest. But it's nice to have, and it's fun to see stuff. This I recommend getting, though. It's a Dexterity belt. Getting the Dexterity synthesized mod is very cheap. About 35 to an X, depending on how high of an eye level you want to get. Mine's nowhere near perfect, but it's good enough for me. Just buy one of these bases, spam one of these in there, and try to get a good roll. It's pretty easy to make. Curse on hit, elemental weakness ring. Fairly cheap to get. Again, none of my gear is like perfect. This is far from perfect. Obviously, my chest piece is trash other than the two great mods. But, you know, I'm going to copium my way to a good harvest. And that's pretty much the build. I mean, I punch stuff. I'll have some gameplay after this. Just, I guess, another few things. We are also using 1 for nothing Hollow Palm. That's how we get the deck stacking, and we're not using any weapons and stuff. The Cluster Jewel is pretty cheap to get because nobody uses dual wielding. So, you know, try to get in that. My Brutal Restraint Timeless Jewel basically just gives me more Dex in the tree. And I got a fairly decent roll with Dex here, attack speed here. Global rating is just like nice to have. More attack speed. The 5% chance to blind is pretty clutch. And then just extra cold. And then up here I have a one of these jewels. Gives me more range. It's kind of like quality of life. Just so things that are a little bit further away or something that's up a ledge, I could punch it a lot easier because we are like in the face of the enemy. These are just resistances with more block and attack speed. Nothing crazy. And then I have a what's it called? Abyss Jewel that gives me onslaught and more dex, and I got a pretty good implicit, so I kept it. You can get the one that has a blind on as well, but I use a different method to get blind, which is fine. I use blind with smoke mind. You can use dash, you can use flame dash, you can use frostbite. Who cares? Do whatever you want. I just like smoke mine because I could put throw a little mine, blind the enemy. I have detonate mine on my left click. And then you're also using your totems to do some massive boss damage. Like I said again, boss damage is kind of rough. I was able to kill Shaper. I was able to kill Cyrus. I was able to kill Elder. I was able to kill Asiri. The 6-way, 4-way, 5-way Maven fight's rough. But I was able to do 2 of them. I could call the Conquerors as well. But it's a different playstyle than just like shoot and move. It's like punch and dodge a lot and punch and dodge a lot. But yeah, awesome gameplay with some probably crappy non-copyrighted music after this. Come on, look forward. Anyway, peace. Another thing I forgot to mention while you're watching the gameplay. The flasks that I'm using, Lion Roar is basically for your defensive. So it's Asiri's Promise, more defensive, and gives you that Chaos Res that we don't really have. The Taste of Hate Jewel Flask. It's just for extra fizz to cold, and take fizz as cold. It's pretty nice. Make sure that your Quicksilver Flask is curse immune, and that your Healing Flask is bleeding immune. And thanks to another YouTuber, his name is And Dang, kind of put me onto this build, and then I kind of made it my own. You could check him out. Check me out too if you want. I'll be streaming on Twitch, and I'll be making more stupid videos here on YouTube. Last thing before I close out everything, the Mjolnir setup that I have is basically just to level up jewels. To acquire it, you just put a bunch of strength and int, put on the weapons, and then put your regular gear on, and then the Mjolnir and the gloves just get read out, and they don't count as unarmed skills, since 1 with nothing is all based on unarmed stuff. So yeah, enjoy the little compilation of me punching stuff into oblivion. Twitch.tv/HavocRed if you want to see some more stuff. Bye.